In this video, I will be explaining the difference between the DOM and the virtual DOM. So, starting from the DOM, DOM is document object model. Document object model means it is a tree-like structure that is having a document and a root node, and that root node is having multiple nodes. Basically, DOM is having those elements which are HTML elements itself, which are showing up in the UI or for web application. These uh, these uh, this DOM is used by JavaScript to access those elements and make manipulations to that, to make changes to that, which are dynamically shown when the DOM is rendered. When the DOM is rendered and we can see that some changes are done. This is how, with the help of DOM, JavaScript make changes to the UI. And in terms of talking about the virtual DOM is just a light copy of the original DOM, which is very lightweight in the memory. um, the virtual DOM is used by React also, which is used to compare the changes, between the previous virtual DOM and the newer virtual DOM. What it eventually does is, by checking those changes of the previous DOM and the newer DOM, React's virtual DOM, or the virtual DOM itself, says to the real DOM that do these changes into that specific section or that specific point only where the change is necessary. But if there was no virtual DOM, what DOM actually does is, if there is a change in a node, DOM will change the entire node. If there is some changes in its some portion or not, it will change the entire node. And it's below, if it is having some children node, it will change the children node as well, and the complete element structure which is below that node. So it is very efficient in terms of computation, and the process is also very hectic, or the process is also very computation consuming. But what virtual DOM is, virtual DOM only check for those changes which were made to the which was made to the newer DOM, and only suggest the only make ask the DOM to make changes at that specific points only. So this is how virtual DOM is making the real DOM efficient. As well as, what virtual DOM has different is, it is having a batch processing system also. It creates the batch of the changes. Like, if in the UI at some specific point there are multiple changes happening, so in terms of the original DOM, the JavaScript will access that node, and then it will change that node, and the whole thing will change. Then it will access the node from the document, then the root, and then those changes will happen, which is very cost heavy. Means computation is having so much, and its performance is also reducing. But in terms of the virtual DOM, what happens is, it is having batches. So every time there is a change, it doesn't every time, like, access the DOM, access the document, then the root node. It just goes batch by batch and changes the UI multiple times. So this is how a virtual DOM is very important to be used. Like, it is making the real DOM doesn't it is making the real DOM don't which is not to not do those hectic operations, to not do the changes multiple times which are not even necessary. That's basically the difference between the DOM and the virtual DOM.